morning and welcome. Patriot Radio News Hour on this Monday. It's been a while since we've done a live Monday show. I'm Joe Jaquint, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group. Happy 2019. I hope this finds you well out there in a world that, let's face it, everyone's lost their mind. But, you know, this is why we do what we do. We have news to disturb the comfortable and comfort the disturbed, right? Going in the Wayback Machine out there. We got a radio station now, by the way. So I know, and I want to update everybody. Today is the last major shipping day for the metals program. And on Wednesday and tomorrow, and we should be done. So be on the lookout for those. If you didn't hear that, maybe they didn't hear that. But he said maybe. We'll be done. We'll be done by tomorrow. And if you haven't gotten into that program, I don't know what to tell you. Don't let your 401k be the only thing you got. Don't let your 401k and Social Security be the only thing you got, because I know one of them you're not going to get if you're not old enough already. But that's for a different show. You can decide which one that's going to be. If you don't have, you know what, a lot of these, let's face it, so many people now work today don't even have access to a 401k anyway, because you're a gigger, right? You're an Uber, Lyft. I don't mean to laugh. The delivery services for Uber and Lyft and all those things. So you don't have that. This is a great way to do it for as little as $100 a month. You can start getting your assets protected. 800-951-0592. The website at allamericangold.com. For Colorado, just some updates. Colorado, Phoenix. We are closing in on a new and going to be very much improved sound quality for this show. I'm going to say by next Friday, and hopefully a lot sooner, but by then, hopefully we'll have it. And I'll be super excited because this is going to improve the quality of the sound of this show in Phoenix and Colorado, on the podcast, everywhere. That's coming. Colorado, our new website is coming. We'll have that out to you very, very soon. We have several other things that are coming program-wise. Get ready. Listen, we're just getting started up there. If you want to get involved, and I think you should, give us a call. Call us and let us help you get your company on the air. Let us help you get your shows on the air. We've got so many great things coming, and I will announce them as we go here. But I'll say this. By next week, we'll have something new. And I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. We may have a couple of new things coming. So keep that all in mind. We got a lot of great things happening here in 2019. I got a great show lined up for you today. We had let's just say this. A country was buying gold again. Well, a country announced that they officially increased their gold holdings again. Something they have not done in several years. I'll tell you who that country is. I'll tell you now, China was buying gold again. Well, China officially said that they added to their gold reserves. I'm going to break it down for you. What does it mean? And where does this? And again, I keep telling you, be your own central bank, right? And you know, whether it's Poland or Hungary or Russia, now China, right? I mean, the list has gotten superly extensive. This is a new development. We'll talk about that. I had a great customer email that I'm going to share about gold, owning gold. As you know, listen, every day I tell you, you got to have it. You do. But then I also tell you, don't put all your money into gold and silver. Be diversified. I'm going to read you the email. We're going to talk about it. I'll shed some light on that as well. We had all kinds of, well, I shouldn't say all kinds. We had some economic data out today. And then we're going to talk about wages and jobs. Is the government trying to pull one over on us? And really the government, the central bank, right, all of these cast of characters. I'll say this. I couldn't even believe that, again, what you don't know. And we sit there and we go out week after week, month after month, and we come out and they give out all this economic data. And your whole financial well-being is based upon this economic data. Right? We come out with the Dow on Thursdays down 660 points because bad data. Then on Friday, it's up 700 points. Why? Good data. Which one is it? Is it bad data, good data? And really, at the end of the day, what I tell you, you're just going to be sickened by it. But the government, once again, not delivering the realities. And then I'll hate to say it, we got to talk about Sears. Some bad news for all the employees and the pensioners for that company when we return. 800-951-0592. That is our toll-free number. I'm going to give you a number. And then we're going to go into the show. I'm going to give you it's incredible what we have today. I'm floored. It was a last-second phone call. So everybody can thank Wendy for today. So we just secured $75 Liberties. These are the old ones, 1866 to 1907, that fractional, that quarter-ounce coin. This, when you talk about the Liberty Series, especially the coins we sell, right, $5, $10, $20 Liberties, right? Remember, we know, right, 20s are the cheapest, right, the bigger ones, the cheaper one, followed by the 10s, and then the 5s, right? They're always the most expensive. That's just how it is. I don't know when we've been this close as far as 5s in relationship to 20. Like, a lot of times we can run 10s. When we get a good deal on 10s, we'll run them the same as a 20. Sometimes we'll say, hey, get 2 10s. It'll be like $5 less. We never do that on the $5 gold pieces because you just can't buy them even when you got a great deal on them. So it just doesn't work. Here's what we got today. $75 Liberties, $350. If you bought 4 of them, that's $1,400. The 20 today is $13.95. Right? So it's $5 more. So here's what I'm going to do. I got 70. I'm not even going to put a limit. You can buy them all, not buy them all. Every 4 that you buy, I'll put them down to $13.95. So if you buy 4 of them, $13.95. You buy 1, it's $3.52. You get it. It's $700. Every increment of 4, $1,395. You're welcome. 800-951-0592. This is one of those, you don't walk to the phone. You better run to it. Get them in. Get them booked. You're going to be glad you did. By the way, did you see, I got to talk about it. This Ocasio-Cortez, she's the super ultra liberal, the young lady, I believe, from New York, that wants to go to the 70% tax, and Trump's absolutely a racist, coming out and saying, listen, I'm not talking about being Venezuela. She says, I want to be Sweden. somebody inform this young lady that the next time the Swedes do something fantastic when it comes to the world will be the first time? That's what we want to be. That's what we're striving for? Sweden? I mean, they're pretty good at the Winter Olympics. Other than that, I mean, I watched Deadliest Catch, and some of them are good fishermen. But what else have they done? We are a economic superpower, and now we're electing people that say, I want to be Sweden? Well, you know what? You need another reason to call. There you go. There's another reason. 800-951-0592. They got 9 million people in Sweden. You know what? You give them 10. 10 million. We got 320 million. Be like Sweden. And Anderson Cooper's interviewing it. Oh. So I got an email. Enough. I can't even talk about it. I'm lost for words. That's what we're striving for. This is the battle that is being waged right here, right now. I get it. The Democrats are united. They want socialism. They want it big time. And they're not stepping out of line. The Republicans, we got clowns like Mitt Romney. This is an email I got from Steve. Steve is a retired person now from Fort Collins. Joe, just wanted to ask you a couple of questions. Some things I think a lot of your customers think about. So I was like, oh, all right. You tell people buy all the gold and silver you can, right? And I do. But I also hear you say don't put all of your money into gold and silver. When I hear what you say on your radio show every day, I can't think of any safe place to put my money. What would be the danger in putting all of your liquidity into gold and silver? Besides the obvious danger from theft. Now, I've been doing this, like I said, 15 years. And I know of 3 different people who have been robbed. I do. All 3 have the same exact story. It was their children, and they were drug addicts. So make sure you be safe, right? So be smart about where you have your stuff and making sure you got to leave away. Obviously, if you pass, right, someone's got to be able to get into wherever you have it. But be safe about it. And you know what? All 3 had the same story. They left them and their wives, went on vacation. They came back, gone. But outside of theft, why not put all of it in? And then he says, what are the issues? What are the tax issues when you sell down the road, when you need to pay for something or buy something? What I'm really concerned about is what happens when we switch to the electronic money when it's forced upon us. I think you guys and others will probably still be around to buy metals back, but how is that going to work, and how is the government going to get their pound of flesh when you sell the metal? So, several different questions. So what is the danger of putting all of your money into gold and silver? Well, obviously now, essentially, if you do, you are now don't have an opportunity to take advantage of something else. And when you talk about being diversified, hey, usually how it works is when Wall Street does well, gold struggles. when Wall Street struggles, gold does well. I mean, that's very an oversimplification. And I get it. More and more people are like, hey, I see what's coming over the next 10 years. And I think it's going to be really good for gold. I'm one of those guys, right? And you could, people do, right? You put but it's the same thing as people having all their money into stocks or bonds or their whole retirement account as a 401k. That doesn't work well. Here's the one difference between putting it all into gold and silver than putting it into a paper investment. The gold and silver will never go to zero. And that means something. I mean, look at, we haven't talked about Sears yet today, but it's going to zero. It's worthless. So gold and silver always have its value. But I guess when we talk about it, whether it's land, gold, tangible assets versus the paper assets, it just allows for, because you know what, even I try my best to figure out what's going to come next. But we don't know. You never know what tomorrow may bring. Could the stock market rally 30%? It could. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. Right? It's possible. Is it likely? Probably not. But that's why I always said being diversified, because you want to make sure that you have, some of the stuff, let's face it. Would it have been great to have stocks in 2017? Absolutely. I mean, and what the sad part is, not everyone made money that year, but most people did. Now, was it great to have it last year? Probably not. Because most people owned Apple and Amazon and Facebook, and they all got hammered. But then you ask a few other questions. One was the tax issue. And this one's very simple. You can either have a capital gain or a loss, depending on when you sell it versus what you paid for it. So today, as an example, you're buying $5 Liberties at $350. Let's just say 10 years from now, you're selling those $5 Liberties. And and I'm just arbitrarily throwing out a number. Let's just say you sold it for $500. You would owe the tax on the difference between the $500 that you sold it for and the $350 you bought it for. So you would owe a tax of $150. Now, it's impossible to speculate what that tax rate is going to be in the future. I don't know. Right now, as it sits, and it depends, like Arizona, you don't pay any state tax on your gold and silver gains. I don't know, and every state has, and the state part's a very small piece of that. But yes, you do owe the gain and or the loss. And you may have bought silver at $35. If you sold it today, you would have a loss. So it's always good, right? Sometimes you could have, especially if you have a capital gain somewhere else, sell something that's a loss so you can wash it all out. But you have either or. The tax implications obviously are going to, if this woman I just talked about's in power, look out, right? That's going to be a pretty big hit. But it's not from the total value. In other words, a lot of people say, well, if I sell to you today, and let's just say I sell $20,000, I got to pay tax on $20,000. That's not true. You got to pay the tax on the gain. So the $20,000 less whatever you paid for is what you need to pay. One of the things that we do, and what we try to, sometimes people are insistent, and I'll just do what they tell me. Not everybody likes my advice, believe it or not. We always tell you buy U.S. minted material, always, because the tax law is better. That's the only reason. Listen, I've got nothing against the Canadian coin or the South African Krugerrands, right? The Australian coin. They're all great coins. The sovereigns and the francs and the roosters, the Helvetias, right? They're all great. Just the tax laws are better when you buy U.S. because you live in the United States. I'm going to answer the last part of his question when I return during the break. Call and get those fives. We'll be right back.
This is the Phyllis Schlafly Report, a daily broadcast launched by Phyllis Schlafly, who served as an articulate voice for traditional values for more than 70 years. Upholding that legacy and himself an author, national speaker, and attorney, here's the president of Phyllis Schlafly Eagles, Ed Martin.
The 2,000-mile trek of migrants from Honduras arrived in November to an angry reception in Tijuana, just south of the California border. And it was not President Donald Trump who shouted them down, but Tijuana's own mayor, along with many of his Mexican constituents. "Make Tijuana great again," said the bright red hat sported by the Tijuana mayor Juan Manuel Gastelum. Hundreds of Tijuana residents turned out in agreement, chanting "Tijuana first" and similar slogans. Well, how about that? The false liberal narrative that only extremist Donald Trump voters are against illegal immigration is disproven by Mexicans in Tijuana demanding that the migrants return home. I would dare say that not all of them are migrants, Mayor Gastelum observed in Spanish during an interview on the Mexican Milenio television channel. He suggested that some of the migrants are even criminals. The migrants seem to have been coached because one of them claimed he was a victim of racism by the Mexican police. The culprit is not racism, but globalism. And the assault on national borders is essentially about maintaining liberty and prosperity. These migrants should be trying to make Honduras great again rather than crashing through borders to overrun places where they are not wanted. Anyone who can walk or hitchhike 2,000 miles like these migrants can use their pent-up energy to improve their own country instead of demanding handouts from Mexico or the United States. Many migrants undoubtedly left behind women and children who depend on the support of the able-bodied young men who comprise the vast majority of the migrant caravan. The United States should not allow these migrants to abandon their responsibilities, but should send them back home to support their families. Often the immigrants who cross the border illegally from Mexico are not even from Central or South America. Official statistics show that hundreds of Bangladeshis, a far remote location for migrants on foot, were caught near our southern border in the last year alone. There is big money in this, with the illegals or their sponsors paying up to $27,000 per person to be smuggled into the United States, as reported by Breitbart.com.
This has been the Phyllis Schlafly Report from Phyllis Schlafly Eagles. Illegal immigration burdens our schools and social services and opens doors to criminals and terrorists. Outdated visa programs divert jobs from Americans. PhyllisSchlafly.com chronicles these outrageous unfair practices and provides answers. Go online to PhyllisSchlafly.com. Thanks for listening, and join us next time for the Phyllis Schlafly Report.
800-951-0592, the deal. Well, it's easy to say it's the deal of the year. It's only the 7th day. U.S. $5 liberties, $350. When you buy them in increments of 4, you save $5, $13.95 when you buy 4. So every 4. So if you buy 4, $13.95. If you buy 2 more, so you buy 6, the other 2 are going to be $3.50 a piece. And if you buy 8, right, $13.95 twice. So on, so forth. That's the same price as a $20 gold piece. I'm sure we've done it in the past. I'm sure of it. I just don't remember it. That's how long it's been. So 12, 13 years ago would be my guess, maybe, that the last time you could get 4 or 5 for the same price as 20 just doesn't happen. Today, it's right in front of you. Take the time, put them away. 800-951-0592. So this is an email from Steve. And Steve, I'm going to tell you right now, you're absolutely right. Other people are thinking this. We've been getting calls during the break, people wanting to add other questions. So we are talking about the tax issue. So one of the things, the simplest reason, why do we always say buy U.S. minted material? Because the tax laws are better. When they confiscated gold, all the foreign gold, you lost. All the bullion, you lost. The only gold you could keep was a collectible. That's why we like the older gold versus the newer gold. Because the newer gold is considered bullion by the government. The older gold is considered a collectible. You can't put older gold into an IRA. Why? Gold? Well, the answer is simple. Because it's just in my belief anyway, the government plans on taking the gold again. And they always leave themselves a loophole for themselves. The last time in 1933, the loophole was you could keep your collectible coins. So now, does that mean it's reserved? I don't know. But you can buy them, sell them, trade them, and not be 1099, where if you have that foreign stuff, if you have the bars, anything over that $10,000 number, you know, that mythical 10,000 number, we're supposed to 1099 you. That costs me money. So they called, one of the callers that called in asked, how does the government know what I paid for it? Well, that's a great question. They could always ask me, right? Legally, I have to keep records for a minimum of 5 years. And we do our best. I mean, every year we have our file cleaning party, if you will. But, you know, we may have 6 years of records. You know, we get to it the best we can when we can. Right? If I get a subpoena from the government, if I have the record, I'm going to give it to them. Of course, they're going to have to subpoena me to get it. If you bought them a long time ago, or you didn't buy them from me, it's a great question. I don't know. If you don't provide the invoice, I guess you could say you bought it for anything. Again, it's a kind of more or less you're on your honor. And I will say this. Most Americans, listen, we're law-abiding citizens. Right? I don't want to go to prison. You don't want to go to prison. Right? Nobody wants to go to prison. If you did well and you made out, report it. Just that simple. And if you don't want to, okay, well, that's on you. But yeah, that's the thing you got to be careful on is if the government asks and someone can produce the record, well, then you got an issue there if you didn't tell them the truth. But yeah, so that's something. And most gold dealers, everyone gold dealers, I could keep 23 years of records if I want to. There's nothing that says I can't. We don't, because we don't have the room. Just so if you've ever been to the offices in Phoenix, we have a hallway that leads to Eric's playroom in the back. This hallway is comprised of nothing more than 4-drawer filing cabinets. It runs the whole hallway. And we pull files so we can make the files smaller so we can fit more files in there. Because I don't have another room. If I have to add another 4-drawer filing cabinet, we've already run the whole hallway. I got no more room. So I hope that answered that question. The last part of his question, when he was talking about what happens with the switch to electronic money, and then his big fear, hey, the government's going to inflict their pound of flesh. So let's talk about that for a minute. By the way, over the weekend, I can't tell you how many articles came out with a lot of very, very smart people. Notice I'm not one of those. Talking about the end of the dollar dominance of the world, and it's here. We're still number one, and most people, we still do a lot of dollars, but it's coming to an end. We are definitely going to some form of an electronic currency, right? A Federal Reserve credit, right? Instead of a Federal Reserve note. All this stuff about the war on cash, that's just to get rid of it. Because it then really essentially what? We're going to be electronic anyway. The thing that makes it easier for them is with this new system. See, the old system, like the Russians, I'll use them, and they were a great example. And I don't know if they had red notes or blue notes, right? But they put an expiration date on it. Silver certificates, another great example. Right here in this country. In June, you had from June of 1967 to June of 1968 to turn in your silver certificates. After that point, they were essentially worthless. You couldn't get your ounce of silver for it. I'll finish that and more when we return. 800-951-0592. We're down to 42 $5 liberties. Don't let this one go by. Because it's such a great deal, and it's fractional. What is this? Get them while they're hot. They're fractional. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I want it to be orderly. Right now we're talking about going to electronic credit. I want that to be orderly. Is it going to be? Don't know. Are you going to need gold and silver to barter with and buy things with, like they do in Greece, like they do in Venezuela? Trust me, in Venezuela, if you have gold and silver, you're okay. Especially in Venezuela, inflation has been so horrible. A $5 gold piece probably buys a month worth of stuff. And I'm pretty sure people don't make change. U.S. $5 liberties, $350. When you buy increments of 4, it's $13.95 for 4 of them. Same price as a 20. First time in at least a decade. And really, I know it was more than a decade because we definitely weren't running that like that in 08. But we're talking about this electronic credit stuff and why it's so much better for the government. See, we always thought that you would turn your money in. Right? Kind of, we talked about the $500 euro note, right? Starting, later this month, everyone's going to stop making it, and then, except for 2 countries, who are going to stop making it in April. And then as the banks get them, they just take them out of circulation, and eventually they'll say, that's it, we won't take any more, turn them all in. But we always thought it'd be something like take your 10,000 Federal Reserve notes, and here's 1,000 new notes. Right? I mean, that's kind of how it works, right? And we've seen it work everywhere from, Russia is the prime example, right? That's what they did. People don't like it. Why do I only get 1,000 new ones? See, this electronic thing is much more cruel than that. Yeah, giving them $10,000 and only getting $1,000 of new money back isn't good. But at least you know it, right? It's right in your face. With this electronic credit now, they can just say, hey, whatever you got, you got. And we won't have to worry about a Federal Reserve's funds rate or anything like that. Oh, no. When they need inflation, they can just devalue. And they're going to set it up. My guess is this, and now this is where I'm going to speculate a little bit. They'll use the IMF as the exchange rate. Right? You'll flow, your exchange of credits will flow through the IMF. And countries can tell the IMF, hey, I need inflation. Can you weaken that for me? And what will happen essentially overnight, when Walmart goes to order their stuff the next day, after going through the new electronic exchange rate, Walmart's going to raise prices pretty much on everything. But you got to keep your $10,000. Right? Home Depot, Lowe's, you name it, anything by Amazon. Everyone's going to have to raise their price. And this is how it's going to happen. So now how are they going to exact that pound of flesh? That's a great question. My guess would be the capital gains tax, if you will. It's going to be a lot higher, right? That'd be my guess. I don't know. The pound of flesh is going to be the fact that most people, 99% of the people, don't own any gold. But as we continue to lose power, and the dollar falls, and we know we go through these cycles, right? Up cycles, down cycles. But when you trend it out, since we've left the gold standard, what's funny is the dollar is worth $1. That $5 gold piece, it was worth $5 from 1866 to 1907. It's actually worth that a lot longer ago. But this series that we're selling today, the value never changed. And guess what? Bought the same exact stuff in 1866 as it did in 1907. Same exact. Now you fast forward today, 1971 to today. About the same amount of years. Right? About the same amount of years. A few more years here, but about the same. More than 40, less than 50 years. You know as well as I do. $5 in 1971. Bought a whole lot more stuff than $5 does today. Right, think about it. $5 today. Gas here in Arizona is about $2.65 a gallon. So that's more than you couldn't even get 2 gallons of gas here in Arizona. A gallon of gas in 1971. I'm guessing. I don't know. A quarter? 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. Final segment coming up. 800-951-0592. Support this show. Support the radio stations and do business with us at 800-951-0592, U.S. $5 Liberties. So excited. $3.50. You buy 4 of them, you're going to save $5 on the 4, right? Bring it down to $13.95. $5 Liberties for the same price as the 20. Yeah, right here at Patriot. 800-951-0592. That is our toll-free number. This one's going to be a call only, not because we're going to bait and switch you. You know we don't do that. Just because I don't have that many left now. So I don't want to put it online and then have to call you and say, hey, I can't honor that price or anything like that. If you've never done business with us, and I know so many of you are that way. You're like, I got to do it, but I'm afraid. So easy. Just call the number. I promise. This is how it's going to work. Wendy's going to answer it. And you just tell her, Wendy, I'd like the special. And then you know what? She's going to ask here's our great big question. How many would you like? And just tell her. And she's going to give you the price. We're going to exchange some information, right? You know, your name and your address, you know, stuff like that. Listen, don't worry. We don't sell the list to anybody ever. We don't call. We don't solicit. We don't do any of that stuff. Honestly, you would never hear from us again if you don't call us again. I mean, we just don't do it. And you pay for it, right? Check. You want to pick it up, you can pick it up, save on the shipping. We do accept all major credit cards. Obviously, you got to pay the credit card price, which would be about, if you're buying 4 of them, I think it'd be $14.20, something like that. I mean, that's just, you know how it is. Right? Everyone's got to get their points. But we take them all. MasterCard, Visa, Discover, Amex, right? 800-951-0592. Everything's up today. Dow's up, gold's up, silver's up, oil's up. $1,290 on gold, silver $1,575. And again, I'll say that like we kind of say it every year, right? It's early. Who knows how the Dow is going to end up? But just know this: you're going to be awfully glad you had gold when the electronic credits come, because listen, they're not going to just take it away without the problem. Just like go back to like the Depression. Why did they take away the gold? Because they told you this is how we were going to fix it. They're going to do the same thing. We already know that there's nothing we can. Deficit's going to be $40 trillion. $40 trillion. I don't even want to know what the interest rate on that, the interest payment's going to be on that. Come on. We're going to have to change that, because that's what fiat money does. I mean, that's not even a prophetic or profound statement. And essentially what happens is it becomes so worthless that they need to get rid of it. And when they go to that electronic credit, remember what gold does. Gold just keeps you whole. Let's just say you bought 4 of these things today, $1,395. 10 years from now, let's just say 10 years from now we make the switch. All that's going to happen is whatever you could buy for $1,395 today, 10 years ago or 10 years from now, you'll be able to buy the exact same thing with that gold. Just keep you whole. Patriot Radio News Hour. Everybody enjoy the rest of your Monday. I hope that answered Steve's email. We'll be back tomorrow. Everyone have a great rest of your day.